Morning.
Good morning again.
Good morning, everyone. We are on the record in case number 22-00163 TREN. If council could enter their appearances for the record.
Elizabeth Jeffries, representing the Transportation Division of the PRC.
Thank you, Ms. Jeffries.
Good morning, Taylor Jaggers on behalf of CNC Transport LLC. Ms. Corral is appearing for the company and she is logged into the Zoom.
Thank you. All right, so we have entered the exhibits, including direct testimony, when we convened last week. So at this time, Ms. Jaggers, if you could put your client or Ms. Corral on the record, have her turn her video on.
Yes, Rosa, if you can go ahead and unmute and turn your video on.
Hi, good morning. Sorry, I'm having technical problems here, trying to put the video on, but I can't.
Ms. Jaggers, did you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Ms. Corral. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Did you have an opportunity to practice logging into a Zoom meeting prior to today?
I usually don't have problems with it. Right now, I don't know where.
Ms. Jaggers, did you have an opportunity to rehearse the Zoom process with Ms. Corral prior to this morning?
Well, she did log on last week, but she wasn't able to, I think it was maybe 30 seconds after we got off the record last week. But I'm going to join. I know she's using a cellular telephone. I'm going to join from mine and see if I can assist her in where to click to get that
I'm
video.
sorry. I usually don't have troubles. I don't know where to have the video. When I put my screen, I can see me, but it doesn't show me that you are seeing me. Let me keep trying. Sorry.
Do you have a menu line at the bottom of your screen, Ms. Corral?
Okay, when I see me, it only shows me the backgrounds and video filters. That's the only thing it shows me, sorry. Thank you.
There you are.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Corral.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Corral, can you, Ms. Gonzalez, can you swear Ms. Corral in? For
Yes.
purpose of testifying?
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Ms. Corral, what's your position with CNC Transport?
I'm executive manager.
And how long have you worked there?
13 years.
Are you related to the owner?
Yes, he's my husband.
And do you have an ownership interest in the company?
No. He owns 100%.
Ms. Corral, when did you first become aware that CNC Transport was a subject of an investigation by the Public Regulation Commission?
I think it was ending of May or beginning of June when the investigator went into the office. Mr. James was about 2 p.m. when he went to the office and one was willing to talk to me. And he started mentioning that he will do an audit and he will need to see records because he was auditing another company and then he was trying to start an audit with ours.
And you were aware that the PRC issued a cease and desist order?
Can you repeat that for me, please?
Were you aware back in June that the Public Regulation Commission issued a cease and desist order?
No, when he was telling me what he was willing to do, that's when I knew.
And what was that? When was that?
Sorry, maybe I'm not understanding. Can you rephrase that question then, please?
Did you know that in June of 2022, that the Public Regulation Commission issued an order to show cause and to cease and desist its conduct?
Well, I was aware when he showed up. I was not aware by any paperwork before.
Well, the paperwork was after the investigation.
Okay, Mrs. Jaggers, I'm kind of confused with the question. Sorry.
So this is the paperwork that they sent from the commission towards the end of June. And then again, there was additional paperwork that was sent, I believe, in August, where they said they were filing this case and that they were asking for a cease and desist order from the commission due to the non-compliance issues.
Okay, yes, I was aware when I received them.
And what action did CNC take when you got that paperwork from the Public Regulation Commission?
We started talking about the options that we had if we will answer by ourselves or if we will contact a lawyer office. And we decided to contact the office of Mrs. Jaggers, and then we started working on every point that we received. We started working on the files as well, and then trying to correct everything and working with her.
Are you the individual who normally handles the licensing for CNC?
No, ma'am.
Who is that person?
We have a compliance department. Her name is Beatrice Franco.
I'm sorry, Beatrice Frankel.
Yes, ma'am. I don't think she was at that department at that time. let me remember. We have had a personal transition, unusual personal transition after pandemic. So I'm trying to remember. It was probably me at that time. I don't remember exactly.
And what efforts has CNC undertaken to ensure that it is operating the way it's supposed to operate, the way the laws require CNC to operate?
We have reviewed the files. We have correct the files. We have record the dates to avoid to have expirations again. We found some of the names that investigator James said they were drivers. They were not drivers. So what happened in the department, on the human resources department, we were on a transition. There was a new person, and it was a problem that the last person left the files not organized. So by the time the inspector got there was a confusion with files. So we work on those files now. They are organized, and that's what we have done.
So you say that you were the person in charge of the compliance department previous to Ms. Franco?
Yeah, what I do is I'm the person covering departments while I find a representative of the department. So at that time on June, I don't remember I had a compliance person.
When you do have a compliance person, how are they trained?
Well, they receive a list of tasks they need to do, and depending on the background of the person, we can have that person train what like fill in the formats we need, or they have instructions to hire a third party to complete the permits that they don't know how to do, because some of them we don't know forms about how to do.
Is there someone at CNC Transport who reviews the laws?
No.
Or how about, is there someone at CNC Transport who has communicated in the past with the Public Regulation Commission to find out how you're supposed to operate?
Well, the person who opened the account was the owner, was Miguel. And what we have about the regulations is the ones that we have on file. And after this audit, I really have the task to follow up on each regulation and change, just to keep updated, especially with the compliance department.
So how are you familiarizing yourself with those regulations and laws?
Oh, through the websites. That's what I have saved lately, like the access to the websites. That way I can have questions answered there.
So you entered into a settlement agreement with the Transportation Division, is that right?
Yes.
And what do you understand that you will be doing as a result of the settlement agreement?
Keeping files updated, being compliant with the rules of the regulation.
Okay, anything else? Are you paying a fine?
Oh, yes. Yes, sorry. I have understood that there's a fine about 2,000.
Okay, and do you know when that will be paid?
Repeat that, please.
Do you know when that fine is supposed to be paid?
Yes, before January 2023.
Ms. Jeffries, do you have any follow-up questions for Ms. Corral?
I don't at this time. If the commission rejects our proposed settlement and we're back in hearing, then I will have questions.
Thank you, Ms. Jeffries. Ms. Jaggers, do you have any follow-up questions for Ms. Corral?
No, I do not. Thank you.
So at this point in time, if there are no further questions, I would just like you to understand, Ms. Corral, that it took CNC Transport a very long time to come into compliance, nearly 6 months. Is that right?
We work on the files less than that, but yes, it took longer to let the commission know that everything was okay and working with Mrs. Jaggers to complete everything.
And do you expect that CNC Transport is going to be compliant in the future with the requirements of the Public Regulation Commission?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand that there was an order that I issued that required you to be available for the hearing last week?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I tried to join. I took a picture this morning of what I saw before logging in. That was the same picture that I was seeing last week. I just was waiting on the screen. I'm sorry.
Because we did take a 20-minute recess while Ms. Jaggers attempted to have you log into the hearing.
I think the
Last
problem
week.
was that they tried to contact me to the office and I was not in the office. By the time I got the text on my phone, I couldn't be on time. I'm sorry.
Do you understand that was a violation of the order that was entered in this case?
I was not aware of that.
Well, in the future, Ms. Corral, I mean, we certainly hope that there is not going to be a repeat of this, but in the future, you know, we would expect that you would comply with all orders of the Public Regulation Commission.
Yes, ma'am.
And you do understand that for violations of orders of the Public Regulation Commission, that you could be fined up to $10,000 a day.
Yes, I do.
And so do you expect in the future to comply with the Public Regulation Commission rules and orders?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have nothing further for Ms. Corral. I will be reviewing the settlement agreement and making a recommendation to the Public Regulation Commission for its review, hopefully before the end of the year. Ms. Jaggers and Ms. Jeffries, do you have any concluding comments?
I do not.
Thank you.
I do not. Thank you.
We will end the hearing and go off the record at this time. Thank you very much, Ms. Gonzalez, for your work on this case as well.
Right, well.
Thank you, everyone.